Are things not okay between Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli? This interesting question has again popped up because of certain factors. The main news is that Rohit Sharma is not going to Australia for the time being to play in either the Tests or the limited over series against Australia, and the reason being that he has a left leg injury. Fine. The moment this news was announced in Abu Dhabi, Rohit Sharma was seen batting full tilt in the nets with the Mumbai Indians team. What does it indicate? Does it indicate that a person who has a serious left leg injury can bat like that? So that was point one. Point two, Sunil Gavaskar has come down in a very interesting way, in the manner in which he does, saying that the cricket fans of India need to know the real reason why Rohit Sharma is not going to Australia, because if he has a left leg injury, if he is not playing a few matches in the IPL, the Test series against Australia is still a month and a half away. So what has stopped the BCCI from selecting him, and has Rohit Sharma in some way conveyed that he is unfit? Of course, BCCI will continue to monitor his fitness and he may still go to Australia. But what is emerging is a scenario where there is a distinct problem which seems to have surfaced between the two. When we talk about a problem that may have surfaced between Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, there are definite traces. This is not a few balls being juggled in the air. It happened during the 2019 World Cup when the tournament was on, and reports came in that on social media, Rohit Sharma unfollowed Virat Kohli and his wife Anushka Sharma. And the possible reason was that Rohit and Shikhar Dhawan were both being managed by a management company which was associated with Virat Kohli, and things didn't go right. There were, of course, some more rumors, and there were some statements being made at that point in time suggesting that when it came to brand endorsements, these two gentlemen were not happy with the way they were managed. And it came to such a pass that Rohit Sharma, to show his displeasure, unfollowed both of them. Anushka Sharma issued a cryptic statement at that point in time, which was meant for her detractors and critics, but that was then laid to bed. So people assume that all is hunky-dory. I remember India coach Ravi Shastri intervening, and in his own bombastic way, he said that this is perfectly fine and there is no problem. There are no factions within the Indian team and no one needs to worry. But why is it that this has again come up in, this news has popped up in this fashion? Because at this point in time, there are two players who are out of the Test side for Australia. One is Rohit Sharma, the other is Ishant. Ishant does have a very serious injury. He's being treated, so it remains to be seen whether he recovers in time or not. But I wanted to take you to what Sunil Gavaskar mentioned about the way Rohit Sharma is not going and the questions it sort of generates. So he says, we are talking about the Test matches which are a month and a half away, and if he is practicing in the nets for Mumbai Indians, then honestly I don't know what kind of injury it is. I think a little bit of transparency, a little bit of openness about what actually is the problem with him will help everybody. He also goes on to say that the Indian cricket fan deserves to know more than anything else. The franchises, I understand, they don't want to give their hand away. They don't want to give the oppositions any psychological advantage. But we are talking about the Indian team here. Even Mayank Agarwal, for example, for an Indian cricket fan, they ought to know what happens to two of their key players. Now, Rohit Sharma, if you remember, made a stunning comeback to Test cricket in 2019 as he opened the innings in the home series against South Africa and Bangladesh. He was expected to face stiff resistance in New Zealand, but he had to miss that series due to an injury. India were beaten 2-0 by the Kiwis. Now, the tour against Australia is highly anticipated, and India and Australia have always slugged it out. Another fact, Rohit Sharma has not played for Mumbai Indians since the defeat against Kings 11 Punjab on October 18th. And like I said before, minutes before the toss in their last match against Chennai Super Kings on October 23rd, Mumbai issued a statement saying Sharma had suffered a left leg hamstring strain against Kings 11. But when this news of the BCCI was announced, Rohit Sharma was seen practicing in the nets, going full tilt and showing no discomfort, and that video has been widely circulated. The BCCI's medical team, of course, says that they are treating this with caution. and this is the second time Rohit has injured his left leg. So, when we look at the past, in February, Sharma was forced to return home from New Zealand after tearing his left calf muscle during the T20 leg of that series. But I have a couple of points to make here, and I'll do that quickly enough. First is that there are indications that there was a certain business deal between these two gentlemen and their associates which went sour, which is the reason why Rohit Sharma distanced himself from Anushka. Otherwise, what was the need to unfollow her? And there was obviously a disagreement with Virat at that point in time. So that was point one. Second is, if you look at it closely, after the 2019 World Cup, the way Virat Kohli managed the World Cup team, there were a lot of murmurs saying that the chopping and changing, that's his tendency. It has taken a toll on the team, and it creates a lot of uncertainty and insecurity among the players, and it should not happen. Whenever Virat Kohli was out of the team, when he was taking a break, that is, Rohit Sharma would step in, and he always had that big daddy kind of approach, and he always maintained, and he made a couple of statements saying that I don't like too much of chopping and changing, give the boys something to chew on, back them, support them, they will perform. So that was his style. Point I'm making here is that after the 2019 World Cup, there was a definite move, a definite discussion that whether India should split the captaincy of the Test team and the limited overs teams, which means that India can have Virat Kohli as a Test captain, and when it comes to the T20 and the ODI format, then possibly Rohit Sharma is a very good bet. He's fantastic with white ball cricket. And last but not the least, if you look at the way he has captained Mumbai Indians in the IPL, he's done a fantastic job. He's experienced, so why not take the pressure of Virat Kohli and split the captaincy? It did not happen. If you talk about England, do they have split captaincy? Yes. If you talk about Australia, do they have split captaincy? Yes. So why not in India? See the role of Ravi Shastri as the India coach. He has this affinity towards Virat Kohli, and that is one of the reasons why Virat voted for Ravi Shastri, or in a very heavy way, after Anil Kumble was virtually sacked and asked to go because the captain and the coach didn't get along. Ravi Shastri has that attitude of the big daddy. He's tall, he has that voice, and he makes certain statements. Nothing is wrong, everything is hunky-dory, and why should there be a problem at all? But the problem is that there are certain cracks that you can't paper over all the time in cricket. It is bound to come up again and again, and it is happening now. I feel possibly the BCCI could look at, going into the new year, at splitting the captaincy between Virat and Rohit Sharma, and giving Rohit Sharma a little more to do, and also not only would that make the situation happier, and I don't understand why Virat Kohli would have any problem playing under Rohit Sharma in the limited overs format. So if that happens, it might sort of smoothen things, and the cold vibes that periodically keep surfacing may end. Also, the current controversy needs to be clarified by the BCCI, and like Sunil Gavaskar says, the Indian fans need to know why Rohit Sharma is not going to Australia.